What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video. In this one, it's the watch list for Game Week 35. So as always, going to go through some players that I'm either looking to bring in this week or for double Game Week 36 that are going on the watch list. Before we jump into it, I did just want to quickly talk about my team. Obviously, any player that I already own is not going on the watch list, as I always say. And I think the way I'm kind of lining up with either a 4-5-1 or a 5-4-1 formation most weeks now. I don't really need to make any forward transfers this week because obviously I've got Weghorst against Watford. Midfielder-wise, I mean, Saka, will he be fit? Probably, but we'll have to wait and see. Havertz, will he start against Everton? Kulusevski, not a great double game week 36, but a better fixture than Rafinha this week. And obviously, Rafinha's got Man City. So midfielders are definitely in my thinking, as are defenders, because Reece James obviously didn't play against West Ham. We'll have to wait and see if he plays against Man United. And then even if he does, will he be right centre-back? How many more games is he going to play before the FA Cup final? They might want to just kind of manage the amount of load that he's got. He might be worth selling anyway. So midfielders and defenders are definitely on my priority list to bring in at the moment. Not really looking to make a forward transfer. Not this week anyway. The other thing is I'm probably going to free hit in Game Week 37 no matter where the Man City fixture goes. So even if Man City double in 36, I'll free hit in 37. If Man City double in 37, I'm probably going to free hit in 37. And although you look at the fixtures, like, you know, teams to target like Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Everton, there's a lot of players that I just don't want to necessarily have to load my team up with beforehand. Maybe one or two, but not loads of them. And most of them have got pretty poor fixtures in Game Week 38 as well. So that's why I'm free hitting in Game Week 37. That is key to know before I talk through some of the players on the watch list. So we'll start off with midfielder, which is Phil Foden. 7.8 million, pretty decent price. Obviously did get rested the last game against Watford. Now, I don't think he's going to miss out too many Premier League games, unless, of course, you know, over the next couple of games they win and Liverpool lose, and then it looks pretty certain that they're going to win the title. I think he's going to start more often than not. I think that was a bit of an anomaly when he got rested against Watford. I don't think that's a sign of things to come because of the Champions League. So I think Leeds away looks like a pretty prime fixture to have a Man City player, and they absolutely dominated them in the reverse fixture. I think they scored like 6 or 7 goals in that one, which is pretty decent, right, if you own some of their players. So Leeds away looks really good to have a Man City attacker. Now, I know obviously Jesus has just done really well, but I don't know week to week if he's going to be in the team. So I think Foden at 7.8 million sits pretty well for me. I can afford to get De Bruyne for Havertz, you know, if I just take a hit. I just don't know if I want that much money in midfield without the flexibility then to put more money into kind of defence and stuff like that. So I think Phil Foden is probably my compromise. And then if the double goes into Game Week 36, Newcastle at home and Wolves away is pretty decent. Again, City are going to do this to pretty much any team, but they're going to dominate possession, they're going to create lots of chances, and Phil Foden's going to be definitely at the heart of that. I know some people get frustrated with Foden because he feels like he's overhyped and he doesn't deliver, but his underlying numbers have just been decent all season. I expect him to get some of the most amount of minutes for City attackers for the rest of the season as well. And I think Leeds, Newcastle, probably Wolves as well, and even Villa are all teams that Man City could score a few goals against. I think West Ham away is probably the hardest fixture they have left. But obviously West Ham are also fighting in Europe. They've got a bit of a smaller squad as well, so that could hamper them. So I think Man City will be fine over these next 5 games scoring goals, because that's what they do, right? They've done it all season. So Phil Foden's definitely up there. I think if the double goes into 37, I might just ignore Man City players completely and just free hit them in. But I think I'm looking at a Leeds away fixture and thinking this week, if there's going to be a lot of goals, that is the one where I see it. The only thing, obviously, with Man City is it's all well and good me sitting here and saying Phil Foden, I expect him to start most of these games. Because they still have Europe to contend with as well, we could see some early benching. So it's not just about starts, it's about overall minutes. So there are some midfielders you'd expect to play 80 to 90 minutes most weeks. I don't necessarily see that with Foden. So I think he'll start against Leeds, he'll start against Newcastle, probably start against Wolves away as well, or at least has got a good chance if that goes into 36. But if they're winning and comfortable, you know, could he get taken off around 60, 70 minutes? Possibly. You just got to hope that he's done the damage there. So I really like him. If for anyone that watched the stream last night, there are a lot of midfielders. We're going to talk about one where I have less concerns about minutes in just a sec. There's lots of midfielders you could look at for 36 that have got problems, okay? So anyone that's still in Europe, Leicester, Man City, etc., that first game in Game Week 36 is after the second leg. So they could absolutely rotate. And then with Chelsea, the likes of Havertz and Mount, their second game, which is Leeds as well, well. That is before the FA Cup final, so there could be rotation there. So in some ways, I'm thinking just get in the best players you can and then just hope for the best. That could be my FPL strategy for Game Week 36. So Foden is definitely very high up the list. I've liked him all season. I just think, yes, someone like Mahrez or someone like Sterling, Jesus could do really well, but I just think I'm more likely to get minutes out of Foden, which is why he's on the watch list. And that Leeds game before the double just kind of sweetens the deal a lot. So I just spoke about a few midfielders that I'm worried about rotation with. So even maybe Foden, obviously, Leicester midfielders, Chelsea midfielders, etc. There could be minutes issues, right? And that is going to be a common theme for the rest of the season. I'm going to get bored talking about it, but it is something that we have to consider. I think Coutinho is the kind of opposite of that. You don't expect him to be on the bench at the start of a game. Yes, he may not always make it to 80, 90 minutes, but he's going to start way more often than not. Even with back-to-back doubles, I think he'll continue to kind of start every single game. There's always a risk when you've got to play that many fixtures in quick succession, but I don't know if I'd be too worried about Coutinho. I think Gerrard's much more likely to start him and then bring him off around 65, 70 if he absolutely has to. Now, like Foden, he has a bit of a sweetener, right? Before back-to-back doubles, he's got Norwich at home, a bit like Foden's Leeds away. So I really like that fixture, and I think one of the things that I talk about form quite a lot, right? I don't really pay too much attention to it. So a lot of people that got hyped up on Coutinho after his heroics in Game Week 28 then brought him in because they thought, well, he's in good form, he's scoring plenty of points. But he's blanked ever since. That doesn't really worry me because Villa fixtures have been fairly difficult, right? They've not been the easiest. And Norwich, Burnley, then having to play Palace and Burnley again is all really good. Now, for anyone that's paying attention, I've just said that I'm probably going to free hit in 37. So he is a little bit of a weaker option for me because of that. Because obviously in Game Week 36, he has Liverpool at home. But the biggest benefit for me is that I think he's just going to start the next 3 games. And having that Liverpool at home game, like Villa can give them a game, right? I'm not saying they're going to beat them. I don't think they're going to score a huge amount of goals past them, of course. But if he could get something, right? It's a bit like when Man United had Norwich and Liverpool. You hope they get something really good in the first game, which he absolutely could against Burnley. And then Liverpool's just an extra on that. And to be honest, Villa will probably give Liverpool more of a game than Man United did. So I really like Coutinho. I think the one thing for my team and for anyone else considering him, if you are free hitting in 37, obviously you can get him in anyway for that fixture, and that is the better double game week. But in game week 38, you probably need a plan for what you're going to do with him, either to bench him, so I just don't see them getting much against Man City away, or transferring him out. And that's all well and good saying, well, I'll just use a transfer. But obviously make sure you've not got other kind of Villa players or Everton players against Arsenal might not be too good either. You don't want to have to suddenly deal with loads of issues in game week 38. That, by the way, just kind of side note, is why I like free hit 37, because you don't have to hold these players through. But I think if I can have just one, Coutinho would probably be the one for Norwich, Burnley away and Liverpool at home. And again, it's not that I think he is better than Foden or better than Havertz or better than Mason Mount. I just think he's probably going to see more minutes over the next 3 fixtures. Or at least that would be the thinking if I end up bringing him in. We're back to another Man City player, and I'm going to look like a right idiot if they end up doubling in Game Week 37. This video will be a massive write-off, but I do think it's probably going to go into Game Week 36. And I look at those 2 fixtures, Newcastle at home and Wolves away, and I just see 2 back-to-back clean sheets for Man City, which is why Laporte is on the radar. Now, Newcastle are obviously playing really well and have got a bunch of good results recently. I think they've got 3 clean sheets in the last 4 league games. They're scoring goals as well. But again, you have to look at the fixtures, right? Man City is very difficult. Man City are probably going to dominate the ball in all of these games. And again, I look at these and I think there's quite a few opportunities for clean sheets. Both games in the double, maybe the West Ham game as well. Interestingly, the way that kind of West Ham played against Chelsea, they were obviously without Antonio, Bowen or Rice for a lot of the game. They still just kept that very compact shape. They defended really well. And I think they will make it difficult for City, but I think the way that game will just go will mean that City, like usual, have got a lot of the ball. And, you know, unless Antonio or Bowen can produce something, I think there's a fairly good chance of a clean sheet. And the Villa at home last day of the season is not bad either. Now, a few people are kind of worried that obviously Diaz is back now and Laporte could be rotated. But I think if you go back and look when both of these players were fit, Laporte has pretty much started as many games, if not more. And I think that left-sided centre-back has been pretty pretty, not necessarily crucial, but when you've got Cancelo who's been playing on the left, it's been very helpful for how kind of Pep has been playing. So I think right now, Laporte is pretty much as nailed as Diaz. Now again, you know, going back to that minutes thing, yes, they've still got games in Europe. Ake's playing well. He could come in. If Stones is back fit, he could play as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if Laporte, I mean, what? There's 5 games left. I would not be surprised if Laporte starts all of them. At the bare minimum, I think we're getting 4 games out of him. So I really like the look of him. The only thing is, would I bring him in this week? I actually think, again, there's a bunch of different transfer scenarios possible for my team. Again, if I just bring it back up, I'm in a 4-5-1, but I can absolutely see a situation where in game week 36, I play 5-4-1, and maybe replace James for Laporte and replace Luca Dean for Robertson and just have 5 at the back, double City, double Liverpool defence. That might be the best way to go. The only thing for Laporte, obviously Coutinho, really nice fixture in 35. Foden, really nice fixture in 35. I would maybe argue that bringing in a Man City defender this week is not necessarily the best time to do it. I've missed that Watford at home game. Luckily, right, they obviously conceded for anyone that went double defence. It didn't work out. I don't know, there's something about Leeds, it's not just a Rafinha thing, that I always back them to score against pretty much any team. Again, Man City will have a lot of that ball, but we know how hard Leeds will work, and they will make it difficult, and they will try and counter. I just don't know if this is the week to bring Laporte in. I might just wait, see if there's another transfer I can do, maybe even roll a transfer and just bring him in game week 36. But he would be ahead of Diaz for me right now in terms of bringing him in, because Diaz has been out of an injury and he may have his minutes managed even more than Laporte does. And also Laporte is just very good in the air for free kicks and corners. I think you're obviously always going to back Cancelo ahead of him, but I already own him. But in terms of attacking threat, as it goes for centre-backs, Laporte has got to be right up there. So could absolutely see him getting a goal, probably not 2, maybe 2 before the end of the season as well. So I really like Laporte, and I think I'd happily play him in game week 38 as well. So he's very much on the radar. I think with Reece James, I'm just concerned about the amount of minutes he's going to get now, and I'm also concerned about how much he's going to play right wing back. I was kind of hoping that he'd play against West Ham, we'd see him play right wing back and he'd just be fine. But if he's still feeling something in his hamstring, they are absolutely going to manage him before that FA Cup final, because it's against Liverpool, right? And you want Reece James playing, and preferably you want him playing at right wing back. So I don't know if this is the week that I'll get rid of him, but I do think there's a high likelihood that before game week 30 or by game week 36, I probably do get rid. I just think Laporte looks like a great option. Those 2 fixtures, Newcastle and Wolves, if that's when the double goes, brilliant. Let's hope it doesn't go into 37 now, otherwise this video is kind of ruined. Thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy it, give it a like, hit that subscribe button. Let me know below in the comments who is on your watch list. What do you think of these players? Is there actually a case to go for Coutinho because of minutes, or would you just go for Foden or Havertz or Mount or someone like that instead? Maybe even James Maddison. Let me know below. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Thanks for watching.